difficulties.
All right, dude. Don't sweat it.
So, yeah, but it's like if someone was texting your wife and you didn't know who, it's either maybe it's just a family member, but it's either if she also said she didn't know who, it'd either be it's either some guy harassing her, or your wife's having an affair. But it's not something that would really just be dropped, right?
Right.
You get to the bottom of it. Maybe you're being an overly protective boyfriend. Maybe it really was just a telemark or whatever. But with these UFO things, it's almost like, what is it? Well, it's it's either ours or it's not. And it's like, it is, man. It's, and then like, anyways, so Post Malone playing at the Super Bowl half, and it's like what the no, wait, bring it back.
Right.
What the fuck is that? What is it? Is it ours?
Right.
If it's ours, that's crazy. Whose is it? That we have that technology, that's insane. If it's not, what is it? Like, hold the phone. There should be a national broadcast system, like, we think we've made contact. The single biggest event in human history. But but you know what I'm talking about? It always seems to just kind of get like,
tossed off to the side.
Yeah, just like, but it would be, it's one thing if it gets silenced and disappeared, and it's like, oh, they didn't want you to know. But it's always weird when it's like, I feel like ultimate raw power is just like, leave it out there and just drop it. It's like, I think we talked about this. It's like how no one's bringing up, like no news channels brought up like Epstein clearly being killed. Then we're like, raw power is if we're at Thanksgiving and I walk in and I just shoot you dead. Normally everyone would freak out. If I was very powerful, people would freak out, and I'd be like, he had to go, and anyone else got a problem with that? Everyone kind of, no, we don't have a problem with that. That's even more power. True power would be you walk in, you shoot someone in the fucking head, and then you sit down, and everyone just goes, yeah, so anyway, yeah, well, they're serving like Thanksgiving dinner
on their day.
That's true power, because it's like to me that was like the rawest power. It was like Epstein died, and everyone just kept going like it was nothing. It's like no one's saying it. Like, okay, somebody fucking flexed. Oops. And that's what to me is like raw. So that's what it is. It's like it just doesn't get brought up.
It doesn't get talked about. And it seems like the people that are brave enough to talk about it, granted, I'm not saying they're all valid or, have, truth behind what they're saying, but it seems like the people that do bring it up, though, and they speak clearly about it and, are outspoken about it, they tend to be just automatically labeled, oh, you're fucking crazy, right? Yeah. You're automatically, like, your opinion is dismissive because you're a fucking lunatic.
Yep. It's just done, doesn't count. Yeah, no, stamped. But it almost feels like some sort of like Truman episode thing. You're like, why is no one talking about this? It's like I told you, like the experience I had. I saw that thing in Athens, and it was not going to tell the story again. But for anyone interested, it's the second episode JP and I did. You can go in and you can find the full story. But yeah, it's like, obviously I have to drop it because like I don't have anyone else who saw it. I don't have any video, so it's like. But in my mind, it's still not dropped. It's still like, what the fuck was that?
Right.
It's even weirder when there's like videos on YouTube and thousands of reports, and it's just like, just kind of fades into the rearview mirror, and it's like, did we just make contact or not?
Right.
Like what was that? And even that guy, Sergeant Carl Wolf, he's like, I was naive because every night I'd look on the news and be like, oh, I can't wait for them to announce we found a base on the backside of the moon. He's like, and now here I am 50 years later. Nothing.
Right, yeah. And I really appreciated what he said right there at the end when he was talking about the kid who was working with him when he disclosed that information. He's like, we're not supposed to talk about that. Like, we were under strict guidance that we can't talk to people about what it is that we do or what we see, in the products that we analyze and whatnot. It's like, and he goes on to say, I think that guy was just overburdened with that knowledge. Like he wasn't trying to be edgy or
snowed in,
stir some or stir some shit up. Like he just wanted to like be able to share it with somebody. So I don't know, man. What I mean, I think with knowledge comes a price, and I think that's kind of been the way of the world for a very long time. Like so many things that are so much knowledge is like, to drop a big word, esoteric. Like only certain circles of people fucking understand, why something is or what something is. And just like Jeffrey Epstein, like if you're not in the know and you don't have the means to pay that price to be in the know, well, then you can fuck right the hell off.
Yeah.
But
it's just
shit. I feel like stuff like this, like if there is a moon base on the dark side of the moon, or like that spiral phenomenon that I just shared with you, like I feel like it would be in the best interest of humanity to figure out, like, or to expose that, like, the truth behind what those are. If what the fuck happened in Roswell, all that shit. But at the same time, like, I kind of understand the suppression of it, as you got to think about the societal implications that would have.
Yeah, does it topple society? Or
right, yeah,
does it topple society, but it's, let the chips fall where they may, almost like almost Darwinian. See what happens. Whatever comes out of the ashes will be the society that can handle alien contact, right?
I agree, but at the same time, what moves the world is fucking money.
Well, no, I mean from a power standpoint, yeah. You don't want to mess up the system. You got it good. You got the whole world.
But the power is relying on the system, right? Yeah. Because they've rigged the system too to fit their benefit.
Yeah, I mean, and that's as old as humanity itself. Is those in power stay in power. Power is a means it's power for the sake of power, or like it's a means to a means.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it also kind of makes sense because it'd be like, is there any benefit to disclosing that, or is it would it just be coronavirus times 1,000? Would it just be people going insane?
I always think about that stuff, like the implication it would have on, like, I get into it a lot with atheists, like militant atheists. We're like, oh yeah, you believe in fairy tales, blah blah, all the same fucking bullshit that I hear all the time.
Yeah, comment.
Yeah, right. And the second, like, if alien life forms came up, they're like, oh well, then that means that your God's not real. I'm like, does it though? I mean,
yeah, what?
Why? Like, I remember this song by Little Dicky, and he's like, why the fuck can't God fuck with aliens? Like, why can't we just be a side project to him and shit? Like,
yeah. Or how come aliens can't be as equal in the eyes of God as Americans and Europeans and Asians? Like, the discovery of the New World wasn't like, well, there's no God because we found Native Americans. It was like, no, it's just there's more of us.
It's a very good analogy.
Like, well, can't you just be like, there's an outpost. There's just more of us. That's all it is.
Right. But I just think about, like, and it goes both ways too. I'm not saying like atheists are
militant on either side are
not all Christians are very Christian either. But like, if that was the case, like, I could see a whole bunch of atheists like going to churches and burning them down. Because like, fuck it, there's no God. Like, why the fuck? It'd be pandemonium, man. And then that's loss of income in the fucking system. The churches commit, and I guess the government doesn't really get money off that, but still, like, it does good for the moral fiber, I guess, of society and whatnot. But which is also argumentative. But but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, it'll have like repercussions on people, because some people, like the lowest common denominators of any sect of people, is gonna fucking take that and run with it and be an asshole.
But what if it's also just like, what if those in power are just completely incorrect? Like, they announce it and it'd be crazy at first, and then it'd be like, what if the reason why these YouTube videos or UFO sightings fade into the past isn't some conspiracy or raw power? What if it's because people are just like, yeah, I mean, I figured we'd be contacted eventually. Like, I still gotta feed my daughter. Like, it's just like, they're just like, oh no, they just don't give. They legit, humans are just like, yeah, okay.
I just see it as like a complete, lack of competence, right?
But
like,
what if it's just like, okay, whatever. You ever seen Tom Brady throw or you ever seen a perfect game? That's something cool. You got an alien ship. You ever seen an 80-yard touchdown pass? Like, that's what I'm about. Joe Sixpack makes his comeback. It's
It's like to save face, right? Like, well, we're the fucking U.S. government. We don't know what the fuck it is. We can't explain it. Well,
that's true too. That's true too. It's if they admit that we don't know what the fuck it is, and that we certainly have no power over it.
Right.
Well, it's like the line from Chernobyl when Gorbachev is like, "Our power comes from the perception of our power."
Yeah. That's a good line. That's a great show, by the way.
It's fucking awesome. But it's like our power comes from our perception. You know, it's like big bad Uncle Sam, like, you know, been laying down dick for 200 years. But it's like if he just acknowledges that, just is like, except for those Mach 70 flying saucers that seemingly phase in and out of reality, we don't know what those are. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, we're in charge, and it's like, oh, so you're not Big Daddy.
Right.
You're Big Brother, but you ain't Big Daddy. You know, it's,
right? Yeah.
You know, it's. I don't know, man. I just feel like it. I don't know. It just. You really can't discuss UFOs without immediately putting yourself in a position of just like, don't listen to me, I'm crazy. You know, don't pay any attention to me. But to me, there's just nothing more fascinating than a UFO. It's just like, so that could be something from another star system with intelligent life in it or powering it, made of material science that's beyond anything we have.
Right, that we don't have on our periodic table.
Yeah, it is to carbon nanotubes what carbon nanotubes are to chopped wood. Like,
right.
And it's here? What, like, to me, there's just like nothing, it's all wrapped into one. It's like material science, like philosophical implications, technological implications, and, you know, power balance, physics.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like Rogan, you know, used to say, be like, isn't it weird how it's not like the front page, or it's not like the main news story every night, and it's just like, day 14,090, we're still on a fucking rock floating through space, and no one knows how we got here. No one remembers anything. No one. We don't have any videos. We don't have any maps. Did we get amnesia? Nope. We're still here in the infinite void. What the fuck's going on? We're just hurling through space. It's like, why is that not on the front page of everything? Every night it's just like, and here we are again on another night. Look outside. Apparently we are just free falling in eternity. What the?
So it doesn't get ratings, man.
Yeah, it's just like, it's almost one of those things you just go up and it's like, yep, look at the stars. Sure bright tonight. I've always loved the night sky. And it's like, we're staring off of a cliff into nothing forever. And it's almost too much. It's like, it's easier to be like, you know, Post Malone playing at the Super Bowl halftime. And it's like, it's like, I don't know. Man, I remember one time I was tripping dick on acid, just staring at the stars. And it just... yeah, and I was just like, I was on like 4 hits of acid, and I was just staring at the stars, and it was just so, like, obvious. It was like, of course they've come here. Why wouldn't they? We're like an uncontacted Amazonian tribe. We go by with helicopters. We're like, hey, look at them. They shoot arrows at us. And then we leave. And they go back and tell their other uncontacted Amazonian friends. They don't believe them. Oh, really? You just saw this thing, you know, the size of an elephant, making noises like a bird, but it was going back and forth and it had lights on it? Bullshit. But I was like, no, I saw that. And it is indicative of material science, physical implications, that there's more outside of our little island. But we know that happens because there are videos on YouTube of like helicopters going near these uncontacted tribes, and they don't know what it is. So some of them built like effigies, and they start praying like these crude statues of like helicopters and planes. Have you seen that? Dude, in World War II, that happened in the South Pacific, because every once in a while the U.S. would fuck up an airdrop, and we would just drop like, you know, 40 tons of like drinking water and K rations and lighters on like an island of uncontacted peoples, and they'd find it, and it was just like literally these people in loincloths, and we're giving them like bottled water,
a gift from the gods.
Yeah, fire, like the gift of fire. We were dropping Zippo lighters on them. We would drop like pin-up girls, and they'd be like. So they found like years later, they had these like crude cathedrals, and inside were these like their god was shaped like the fucking B-17.
Oh my God.
And it was like, yeah, the great metal bird in the sky. It literally rains gift from heaven. Like,
right, yeah.
Yeah. It's
fucking insane. I always heard that story about, I think there was like a tsunami in the South Pacific, right? And that's like one of those stories where the helicopter was trying to, like, it was watching like some indigenous people who were never discovered on an island, and they saw it and they were like throwing spears and shooting like arrows at it and shit. And I've always thought about it. I'm like, dude, that must be fucking insane. Like, that's probably their equivalent of us seeing UFOs. Like, they're like, what the fuck is that thing?
Yeah,
like,
what? It's not like, oh, that's a more advanced helicopter. It's like,
right,
they don't even, you know, it's one thing if you see something that's like, oh, that must be a black fighter jet. It's like, they don't even have like language.
Right. They don't have a frame of reference. Like, they don't have a word for it. So.
Yeah, it's like, again, material science. It's like, what the hell is that shiny material? Like, we can't mold that out of clay. You know, it's this glossy black, you know, metal canopy, and it has glass on it. It has a cockpit.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is glass? You know?
Right.
You know? What is glass? And it's,
we have all this sand that we're standing on, but we have no idea how to make glass.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's actually a brilliant point. We have what is the equivalent of us? We have all the sand we're standing on, but we don't know how to make, and we're looking at glass going, how can we get that? And it's like, you're standing on it. What is going on right now that we're standing on, or that we're living in? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, how do we travel between star systems? Like, and it's like, little do we know, it's like every point of every area in time space is like a wormhole to every other point, and all you have to do is like concentrate on it or some shit, and we don't know. I wonder what the sand is that we're standing on.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. You think we'll ever get there?
Given that we don't die, yeah. I think there's a couple hurdles. I think the first big one was the Cuban Missile Crisis. It was, can we get through, you know, staring contest. Khrushchev blinked. We didn't go all out. I think the second hurdle is, like the last 150 years is like a final exam. First part is Cuban Missile Crisis. The second hurdle is COVID. Can we come together as a global species? Because what's the thing they have in common? They all have global implications. Nuclear war, everyone dies. Doesn't matter if you're Madagascar. Thermonuclear fallout from 50,000 fucking hydrogen bombs. Game over, brother. COVID. And I think the third phase of the exam will be an asteroid. Was it Michio Kaku who said apocalyptic or world-ending asteroids occasionally coming by are the universe's way of saying, like, how's that space program coming? They're just shots across the bow. Zip.
You might want to speed it up just a little bit. Yeah.
How's everything going? Oh, you got the new iPhone 9, and every once in a while, zip, and the asteroids. Yeah, it's not only that it's like, oh, this one was between us and the moon, which is in cosmic terms, it's like a bullet shaving a hair, but it's not only that. It's like, yeah, and well, the thing about it is, it's like, well, how come we didn't know it was coming? It's like, well, we didn't see it. And it's like, I thought you guys could see these, and it's like, well, we thought we could see all of them. It's just these really close ones we find. It's like, how'd you see them? Oh, we saw it because it was so close. It's like, so you're telling me that, like, I know I knew I got shot at because, not because I saw someone with a gun, but because I saw the muzzle flash, like, you know, or it's like Black Hawk Down, how they talk about in the book. They're like, yeah, you knew they would get close because you'd hear these little sonic booms as the bullets were cracking the air next to you.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The snap. Right.
Yeah, and it was like, oh shit, and yeah, Michio Kaku's like, yeah, that's the Earth's or universe's way of just like, it's doing basically a drive by, and like, you know, it's almost like your boss coming by and like just standing by your cubicle, like just making sure that report's coming along. You know, it's that's what these asteroids are. They're just zip, and they're just like, hey guys, and we're just like staring at it, and it's just like, doesn't need to say anything. The implication's understood. You know?
And you're just like, man, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. I fucking hate when the boss comes nearby. He's such a prick. Hi. I fucking hate that guy.
Motherfucker's gonna ask me to stay late on
Friday. I know he is. Yeah, Peter, that would be great. And it's just like, how's that space program coming, guys? It's coming good. We got ICBMs. I was just wondering if you could put a little more into your asteroid defense program. That'd be great. It's just like,
good.
Okay. Die.
I actually just watched Ad Astra, the movie with Brad Pitt.
Yeah, good.
I enjoyed it. Yeah,
good?
it's science fiction in a way that seems like real. Like it's not out there science fiction like Star Trek or Star Wars or anything like that.
Kind of interstellar-ish.
Yeah, it's kind of like grounded in reality, I would say. But I looked it up. I was like, what the fuck does Ad Astra mean? Like, where'd they come up with that name? And I looked it up, and it's like through hardship to the stars. That's the whole thing.
That's
and
cool.
It's a Latin phrase, through hardship to the stars, and that's pretty much like the whole premise of the fucking movie.
That's pretty cool.
But I was watching this film, man. I was like, holy fuck, dude! Like, and because it seemed like it was so grounded in reality, I was like, even if we had like technological advancements, like these guys were, what did they say? It was like 19 days from the moon. No, it wasn't. No, I'm sorry. That's a misspoke. Might have been like 49 days from the moon to like Mars with the rockets that they had in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole premise is Brad Pitt's father was on this like expeditionary kind of mission to go out to the farther reaches of the solar system with this like technologically advanced spacecraft to see if they could like find life forms out in, like basically they were beaming signals and trying to get something to come back. And then of course something goes wrong. Brad Pitt's got to go out there and save the day or whatever. It's not as that predictable, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty much the premise. But it was just inspiring to me, like watching this movie and thinking to myself, like, if we were going to make it there, I still don't think it's going to be like, oh, we have like the current generation of rocket ships and now we're like going into warp speed. Like it's going to take us a long fucking time to get there. Unless like you said, like some of this shit is revealed to humanity. It's like, oh yeah, it is space. There are aliens out there. We got one of their spacecrafts. We're going to reverse engineer their fucking, their hyperdrive or whatever, like if we're going to do it on our own merits, it's going to take us a long fucking time. Definitely a good movie though. I would recommend it.
I'm probably gonna watch that today, actually. I think it's probably just gonna be something that we can't imagine. Maybe it was you and I, maybe it was me and someone else talked about it. But it was like, have you ever seen those like 1900, the year 1900, the predictions of what will be in the year 2000?
No.
Have you ever seen these predictions? They're like, first of all, they're not Photoshop renders because that didn't exist, so they're all like watercolor. But it's like. What it is it's just it's linear extrapolations of the technology they have then. So it's like there will be trains between all the buildings in the city, like skyscrapers, like, okay, maybe. And it's like everyone will have personal blimps, and it's like, what the fuck? Then it's like firefighters, and they have these big leather contraption wings, and it's like firefighters will be able to have like these like Wild West type like mechanical wings where they can float up to buildings, and you see these like firefighters with these big leather wings floating, and meanwhile they all still have like mustaches and top hats as they're like floating like bully, just like, and it's like,
right, yeah.
Or it's it's like there will be like massive like shipping like wagons pulled up to by 10,000 horses, and it's like it's extrapolations of their technology. They didn't see like the Wright Flyer wasn't for 2 more years, so it's like you didn't see the idea of planes, right? And then even once we got the planes, it's like one day maybe we'll have jet engines strong enough to get the momentum to go to the moon, and it's like, oh, you guys didn't oh no, in the 40s we discovered something called like solid fueled rockets, right? And it keeps, or even then it was like in the 60s it was like maybe one day there's an idea for like mail by rocket, and it would be like ICBM shooting like postage to like other parts of the world. Like your mail would come in a re-entry vehicle at like Mach 23, and it would like crash into the ocean. And the fuck,
Rob?
Nope, some call from Texas. Do you know anyone in Plano, Texas? Plano?
No. No, I do not.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's like your mail would come in at like Mach 23, crash into the ocean, and like a big, steam liner would pick it up, and you could go pick up your mail after it like cooled down. And it was like they didn't foresee like the internet and email,
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Right. Yeah.
it's always extrapolations of current technology, and it goes to the next. It's almost like, what will be the next video game, an even bigger map, and it's like maybe it will be something else entirely, like VR. I think that we're looking at it as like we got to get our engines stronger and faster and more efficient, but I can't help but feel like in 2120 they're going to be looking at us the same way. We're like, oh yeah, everyone will have their personal hot air balloon, you'll be able to float across cities and go see the New York Yankees. More than, it's like, impressed now, like, you'll be able to get candy from all over the nation, and it's like, what the fuck? Or it's
right.
like, I just don't, I think it's going to be something that's not, and it's, if you and I knew what it would be, it's kind of like, then we would be billionaires because we'd just have broken a new technology,
Yeah. Right.
I just think it's going to be like, it's never what we think it is. It's always this new, it's an entirely new paradigm. It's not just an extrapolation of that technology. It's something new entirely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I don't know. That's what I think it's going to be. It's almost like, I know you got to go in a couple minutes, but it's like, what is the future weapon? Even faster nukes, bigger nukes, stronger nukes? It's like, no, what if it's a bioweapon? Something you never could have seen, and it's like coronavirus, and it's like, the world's #1 nation's like brought to their knees. And it's
seriously.
Like, yeah, so like, that's what I think it's going to be, is I think it's going to be something like, I don't know what.
Mm-hmm.
But just like,
yeah.
They're going to be like, hey, remember when those dipshits back in the day thought that you just had to go through like space even farther? They actually thought they had to transverse those distances. They actually thought that we were going to make them go all the way out to the stars. It'd take 50,000 years. What are they, fucking morons? And it's like, little did they know that it's all about wormholes and like instantaneous connection between, oh yeah, you could jump from one galaxy to another versus, it's, and by the year 2000, like, you'll be able to cross the whole town in a day. You'll be able to go see your grandmother on the other side of the town, have a lollipop and a whirligig. And it's like, no, it's like I can do a real-time face video with JP, who's fucking an insane distance from me, and we're speaking at light speed, and I'm recording it, and then I'm going to upload it onto this global brain called the internet.
Right.
It's like,
right.
And it's like, that's what, and this is just like a whatever technology. It's Skype. It's old. We shit on it because it's not even impressive. That's what I think it's going to be. It's like we're going to be like, by the year 2500, we might have outposts on Pluto. You could send postcards from the sky. And it's like, no, we're going to be able to like time hop to Andromeda Galaxy.
Seriously.
Do you know what I mean? I think it's going to be something like that. It's
So yeah, just based off of like examples throughout history.
Yeah.
Like you said, like it's probably like what I said with Ad Astra in the movie, like, it's so grounded in reality, but granted, that's based off technology that we currently know.
Yeah.
Like premises that we currently fucking know.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, maybe that is what it's going to be like, but maybe, like you said, maybe we find something else out, like we break ground on some fucking
wormhole or something. Like pinch
wormhole technology,
time.
Teleportation. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. The idea of like bigger and bigger and bigger rockets, it almost like right now that is like the understood, like, well, that's what it has to be. It's just bigger rockets, bigger, and it's like I can't help but almost like see flashes of this in like a future in a century, and be like, does this not feel like we're the same dipshits in top hats, like patching together these big quilt work hot air balloons, like, bring your pipe up. We can go up there and perhaps bring up a novel by Jules Verne, really live the high life. And it's like, part of me, when it sees like we got even bigger rockets that have even more thrust, I'm like, God damn it. I'm part of the moronic past, aren't I? God damn it. I'm part of the, God damn it. Like, one day you'll have a kite. It's like fuck. You know, even our smartest Elon Musk is like, we'll get to Mars in 90 days. Like, I can almost just hear the snickering from the future. Like, and it's like, God damn it. It's like, I know I'm being made fun of. Like
90 fucking days, really?
Yeah. It's like when you know you're giving the wrong answer and everyone's kind of laughing at you and you're like, God damn it. But it's the only answer you have, so you have to give it anyway. You're like, okay, well, I think that the answer is, and everyone's like, and you're like, God damn it, like, hear me out, and you're like, but you know you're wrong, and they know you're wrong, and you know they know you're wrong. Mm-hmm. That's what I think it's gonna be. So it's, you know, like, so what do you guys think it's gonna be? So we have these reusable rockets. They're like the best things ever. The Falcon, why are you smiling? They land back on the barges. We can reuse. Why are you smiling? Like, no, they're really. We have a new ion engine.
They land by themselves.
They land by them, and they run on solar fusion. Bro, it's just like we're standing on the sand. What is the sand? And it's again.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, brother. I'll let you go. I don't know where the first half of the video went. It normally saves on my. It normally saves on my desktop. I don't know where it went, so I'm gonna try to find it. But
good luck.
Yeah, there might just be like this second half of this. So I hope I can fucking find it. This hasn't happened, but this was only a matter of time. But yeah. But I appreciate doing the podcast, dude, and I want to do another one with you and Nick and Dan.
Always.
I want to do another.
I'm always down as long as I got the time to do it.
Yeah, I want to do another Wuhan Clan. But
yeah.
All right, man. Stay safe. Happy Easter. God bless, and maybe one day you'll.
Maybe one day you'll be celebrating Easter in Mars.
Maybe one day you'll be celebrating Easter from a hot air balloon, right from your journal with a new quill from Brittany's Whirligigs. We could deliver Cracker Jacks via rollerblades. You know, don't go spend it all in one place. And no matter what, maybe one day you'll be traversing the world in a blimp, and together, you and your friends, above the sea, all your balls will shrink up into... Don't get too excited, but ball shrinking...
Ball shrinking technology is going to be where it's at, bro.
Well, maybe one day you'll be watching Babe Ruth. Well, your ball shrink.
All right.
But the funny, if I can't find the first half of this video, there's no reference to that for anyone.
No. It's gonna fall on deaf ears. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck are they on about right now? But okay. You know, man. Before you went on that tangent, same to you. God bless. Tell your mom and dad I said what's up. And yeah, hit me up next time you want to do this, especially if Rob or Nick or anybody else wants to get in on it. So, ball shrink.
One day. Buddy. All right, man. All right.
All right.
Peace, brother.
Later.